Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel and also to my very dirty S650 Mustang. So I've been getting a few comments on some of my videos about kind of questions regarding drivetrain, like what you really need to do to the drivetrain once you have a boosted setup on your S650 Mustang. And also before I start, this is also in parallel going to apply pretty well to an S550 Mustang, as really the chassis, the drivetrains, and the half shafts are the same. So when you have a boosted Mustang, obviously the increased power is going to start being harder on parts. Just naturally, that's pretty obvious, that's pretty given. So I have an MT82 car, so I have the 6-speed Getrag MT82 D4 transmission. Not the best transmission. Really what Ford should have done is put a Tremec in these cars. But behind the transmission, there is the drive shaft and then the half shafts that connect the differential to the wheels. So specifically the drive shaft, and I think even more so the half shafts in these cars, these are a potential weak point. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen, like if you go with a stage 1 Whipple, you still have your 36,000 mile, 3-year powertrain warranty or whatever it is. So if you're on your stock wheels or even just in general a street wheel setup, you're gonna be okay. Your drivetrain is gonna be spared by the very graceful lack of traction that your street tires are never gonna be able to provide to be able to actually torque brake the drive shaft or the half shafts. So one thing I've been doing with my car too is a lot of research on how to get better traction. So in first gear on a Whippled setup, it's completely useless. On second gear, it depends. Before I had headers and on my first revision tune from Rob Shoemaker, second gear actually gripped just fine on the 285 Pirelli P0 tires. But as soon as I went with the second tune revision, which came after the headers install and also the E30 tune, that's when I started really having issues with second gear. So if I'm on my 93 tune, second gear is pretty questionable. I think sometimes it's okay as long as I get some heat in the tires, but on E30 it's pretty much about as useless as first gear, and I have to do hard pulls in third gear. So it kind of sucks not having good traction in second gear and even in first gear, and even on E30, questionable in third gear. Generally, third gear is pretty good on E30, but if the tires are pretty cold, you'll have some traction loss, and then traction control will kick in and cut power. So obviously this sounds like a bad thing, but there is some positivity behind it, and that is the full graceful saving of the drivetrain. If you're on your stock wheels or stock tires, and again, even on a street setup, your drivetrain is probably going to be okay. You're never really going to have to worry about breaking your drive shaft, and you're never really going to have to worry about breaking your half shafts. The problem is when you go to a drag pack or a true drag radial tire, so like a Hoosier or a Mickey Thompson on smaller wheels, this is where you're going to start having issues. Now, it all kind of depends on how much you're launching your car. If you have like a true radial, like if you have a true drag radial in the back, but as soon as you do, and you do start launching your car either in first or in second gear, you're now very much putting your drivetrain at risk. Again, specifically your drive shaft or your half shafts. And this is where you need to start being careful. I've been looking at, because my current drug is Facebook Marketplace. I sit there when I'm about to go to sleep, and I just scroll and scroll and scroll. And it's so easy to find so many well-priced drag packs for these cars over on Facebook Marketplace. And it's super tempting to just pick it up, throw them on the car, and then just have crazy good traction. But it's something you want to be careful with these cars, because you definitely are putting huge risk of your half shaft and drive shaft will drag radial on your car. So that's something to be very careful with. Now, as far as those two parts, the half shafts really are what are probably going to fail first. Most people, from what I've seen, is when you have a failed half shaft, you replace your half shafts, and then you also just replace the drive shaft. You get the case of the mind as well. So if you're underneath the car reinforcing a drivetrain, you might as well do both the half shafts, and you might as well do the drive shaft as well. But that's not to say that your drive shaft couldn't be the thing that goes first, but it's probably going to be your half shafts. Again, the pieces that connect your rear differential to the wheels. So I want to put that out there for you guys. If you guys have a boosted setup, or you're going to a boosted setup, be careful if you're be careful with the idea of just throwing radials at the car. You'll probably live, like the drivetrain will probably live okay for a bit. Again, it certainly does depend how you're launching the car. If you're doing, you know, from a dig, first gear, after a smoking burnout with a lot of heat in the tires, you're probably gonna break your drivetrain. If you drive relatively gentle, you don't launch the car, you're not dumping the clutch, you could probably get some time on your stock drivetrain. But this kind of presents a challenge to me because I'm not ready to throw all the money into the drivetrain yet and for a new set of wheels, specifically a drag pack. So I still think I'm gonna go with a street wheel setup. The ones I'm specifically looking at right now are the LMR MPH 1s, which are a 10-inch in the front, a 11-inch wheel in the rear, and that way I can get 305s and probably maybe 315s, possibly 325s, but at least getting off the 285s to a 305. And the tire I'm looking at is probably the Firehawk Indy 500s. I've heard really good things about them. Again, this is a daily driven car, so I want something that does okay in the rain. And again, we live in Dallas, so we don't really get snow, and if we ever do, you just don't drive. So weather isn't a huge concern, and really the only place I drive since I work from home is just going to the gym. So I can be pretty lenient on a very summer-based tire rather than going with like something that's more of an all-season, where traction is even more so going to suffer. But that's the setup I'm looking at for a wheel setup. But after that, then I think I'm gonna start looking at upgrading the drive shafts and the half shafts. And then just another thought that I had, one thing that people kind of do is they'll throw in GT350 drive shafts in these cars. GT350 half shafts in these cars. And those are for sure a stronger half shaft and they will fit, but they're still not as strong as they could be. If you guys are looking at upgrading your drivetrain, I would definitely look at G-Force half shafts. For sure, they're definitely one of the better known brands. They fit very well. I've seen a lot of videos on them. I don't have any personal experience with them, so I don't want to give you guys like a full review, but I would just say look into them because they seem to be a pretty promising half shaft. And plus they're rated like 1,500 horsepower. So unless you're going super crazy with these cars on a boosted setup, you'll be perfectly fine. And the G-Force half shafts, I would expect to last the life of the car. So that's pretty much it for this video, just to give you guys kind of a quick tip. Hope this helps. If this helps even a single person, then perfect, then I'm happy with that result. But just to get that out there for you guys, this is something to be mindful of if you have a boosted setup or going boosted setup, not to just throw on like a full meaty drag pack on the car and expect that your drive shaft will last, because you're definitely at a pretty significant risk when you do. But again, if you're on a street tire or a street setup, like a stock wheel or 19-inch wheel or above, you'll be okay. You'll be perfectly fine. You'll never have the traction to really break your half shafts or your drive shaft. So have fun with your street setups on your stock drivetrain setup. You'll more than likely be perfectly fine for quite a while. But yeah, so that was just to help with some of the comments I've been seeing. I certainly appreciate any comments that you guys throw into my videos. I try to answer them as promptly as I can. And also, I appreciate you guys for watching my content. Again, my typical cliche shtick, don't worry about subscribing, liking, or commenting. I would love if you guys did, but I feel like it gets really annoying when every single YouTube video that you watch, people are like begging you to subscribe or like or comment on videos. I get it, that's what helps channels grow, but I don't want to be that annoying of a content creator. So you guys subscribe on your own volition. If you do, I appreciate that more than you know. But if you're just here watching my content, then that's awesome. Enjoy the show, enjoy the information and entertainment that I'm trying to provide you guys, and that's all I could ask for. So one last thing for you guys. So just a quick few updates on the car. So I have some more interior parts ordered, and a few parts that I also want to throw at this car are vertical links and BMR cradle lockout kit for the rear. That should help a little bit with the wheel hop and gain somewhat better traction on the street setup. I guess we'll see, but we'll definitely get those parts ordered. I'll have a video for you guys of me getting those installed. and then we can actually do some testing and I can actually show you guys. So we have that coming. Again, also have the new wheel setup coming. I'm hoping to order that within the next 2 or 3 months. But yeah, you guys, appreciate you guys being here. Like guys, I'm still doing the 2 videos a week. I think I'm gonna start trying to bump that up to 3 just to get more content out there for you guys. But yeah, thanks again, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.